Don't let your past, to affect your future and present.
Yeah.
Just because you made a mistake with something before, it doesn't mean you're gonna do it again, or the same thing's gonna happen. You cannot just predict it. Oh, it happened once, it's gonna happen again if I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? And did you take anything else from it?
Pretty much this is it.
About the past conditioning. Okay, well, I've taken some notes this morning from this to share with you. So just going through the kind of key, like the bits I've highlighted in my book. So we'll go through them, have a chat about that.
All right.
And then I don't think I'm going to, did you, well, I know the answer. You had a look at the workbook, right, as well, and what he was saying in there. So I'm going to leave the book alone today. Don't think in reverse. Share. And then the other thing I thought about today, if we've got time, is, do you remember, like he's talking about in this chapter, the law of polarity as well. One of these seven laws. So I thought if we've got time, we did the 7 laws in the first session, kind of briefly.
Yeah, the first session. I can't remember in this particular chapter.
Yeah.
Mentioning it.
He brings it up a little bit at the end. But that, for me, is one of the big things. And then if we've got time at the end, we'll have a look at these laws again, see if you can get a bigger picture of how they're actually underpinning what's going on. So you see my screen here, right?
Yes.
So you'll never obtain any substantial measure of material wealth if you insist upon living your life as if you were looking back in the rear view mirror. So exactly what you said, we can't allow our past conditioning to control our present thinking. Do not be misled by your sensory factors. We are endowed with the same basic mental tools which the Wrights, the Edisons and the Bells possessed. We all have the God-given ability to employ those tools just as they did. All of us have been blessed with the mental capacity to gaze into the future and to see our lives in a richer and much more satisfying state. Therefore, regardless of the present circumstances in which you find yourself, clearly understand that if you can build the image of something new in your mind, in your mind, something that far surpasses anything that occurred up to now, you have the ability to realize the result in the physical world. It says the ultimate creative capacity of your brain may be, for all practical purposes, infinite. So he's really talking about how we don't, how we've got these 5 higher intellectual mental faculties. So we've got will, reason, memory, intuition, perception, and imagination. 6, sorry. And these are like, we've got on one hand, over here, we've got these higher intellectual faculties. On the other hand, we've got our senses, which is the smell, taste, touch, whatever it is, the 5 senses that we've got that process data. So our senses are tools to process data from the external environment, and our higher intellectual mental faculties, such as our imagination, our will, reason, our creative faculties. They allow us to be creative, whereas the senses just allow us to internalize and ration and understand our environment. So the trick is, which is what he's been saying all the way through this program and through the book, is you have to shut down the senses. You have to stop operating from your senses and start activating and using your higher intellectual faculties. such as the imagination. And to do that, we have to actually start to think. Using our senses creates mental images and gives us the impression that we're thinking. It's not actually the case. That's just processing. What we're doing is processing information. It's mental activity. Real thinking is using our higher intellectual faculties in a creative way. And this is what he's saying here, where do not be misled by your sensory factors. Stop paying attention to what they're telling you. And he says this all the way through the book as well. Because we've been endowed with the same basic mental tools that all of these great people throughout history used to create amazing results. We've all been blessed with the mental capacity to gaze into the future and see our lives in a richer, much more satisfying state. So disregard circumstances, don't look at the past, don't allow previous conditioning to determine the way that you feel about your potential and your capability. Because if you can imagine something new in your mind, then you have the ability to realize that result in the physical world. So, and this brings into play this law of polarity. For me, he's talking about, like, yes, it's don't look back, don't allow the past to control the future. But when he says don't think in reverse, he's talking about using this law of polarity in a positive, affirmative way rather than a negative way. You might just discover you've been telling yourself for such a long period of time that you can't do certain things that you've actually manufactured a genuine mental block in your own conscious mind. But you should remove these mental blocks by putting yourself in a relaxed state and then becoming consciously aware that you can do the things that you want to do. You probably just don't know how to go about doing them. And for you, I think that's true, isn't it? It's like you look at like where you were 8 weeks ago when we started this. You were saying to me, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I'm no good. I can't do it. I'm rubbish. I'm a trainer. I'm not a social media manager. I'm not interested in Facebook. I don't like social media. Whereas now, 8 weeks later, you're buying books on branding. You're looking at how you can create content structure within your page. You've got a website. You're using all of that stuff. So hopefully there's a realization there for you that potential within you was always there. It was always there. You always had the ability and the potential to be able to do all of this. You could have done this a year ago. You could have done it 2 years ago. You could have done it 3 years ago. But you didn't activate it. You didn't make the decision. This is where it comes down to, we go back to goal setting and being clear and having a vision and taking action. When you start to focus your attention and use these higher intellectual faculties, it starts to open up your awareness. And that's the only limit to what you can achieve, is what you can be aware of. So the truth is, there are few people anywhere who understand the real truth concerning their own hidden resources. So, can you talk to me a little bit about that? What are these hidden resources that he's talking about? What's he talking about?
Well, it's our mind and capability to do things, the hidden resources.
Yeah. 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 That we're living in a universe that's being governed by immutable laws. And these laws are open to personal manipulation and interpretation. Depending on how we interpret them, however we interpret them is going to be how we experience them. So these laws are completely neutral. They just are. They're neither positive.
Again, yeah, it's again just the nature, and to listen to. It's like your body. You need to listen to your body.
Yeah.
What's wrong? And what's not right for them.
Yeah. There's no bias to success or failure. There just is the potential for both, and the way that we determine whether it has potential for success or failure is by our interpretation of it and our mental position, the way that we approach it. And the way that we do that is by understanding that we've got these higher mental capabilities than the majority of people don't realise, that they have this potential within them to do this. And when we actually activate these hidden resources within us and start to develop them, and it's the same as going to the gym. It's the same as getting a personal trainer. Like working with me as a personal trainer for the mind, it's no different. You have to work these faculties don't just develop. They're there, but you've got a weak muscle. If you haven't used them for 30 years, you've got a weak muscle. But if you use them every day and you work out with them, then they're going to get stronger and stronger and more powerful. And it's our mind that's creating our reality. This is what he's saying. It's like we don't understand that we've got the infinite potential to create anything we want. There's no limitation on what we can do.
It's again the laziness of the modern world. Whatever you hear from the media, people around you, you accept it as a reality, even if it's it's just their reality, and they want the mass to accept it.
Yeah, and most people do because they just do what they're told. That's our conditioning.
Yeah. Because it's easier. It's convenient.
Yeah. It's easier to moan and complain than it is to actually take responsibility.
Yeah.
I think that's a theme that runs through this book as well, is it's up to you to take responsibility.
It's in one of the audio freedom series you sent me a couple of weeks ago. Bob Proctor is saying that it's basically if you don't take responsibilities, don't expect anything, to happen.
Yeah. Expect to be a plaything for the environment and for everyone to play pinball with you. Just get bounced around. So, and there you go. Like you may have been telling yourself for a long period that you can't do certain things, but you have to remove these mental blocks. So we're going now again to this conditioning with we go to this back to the stick man. I'm not going to bring them up on the diagram. These ideas that are fixed at a subconscious level. We know that it's the repetition. We have this process to work with when we're training our mind and creating these conditions to use these laws in a productive way. And one of the things we have to do is repeatedly tell ourselves the thing that we want to experience. We have to, the only way to get the information to create a fixed idea now at my age and your age is repetition, to continually repeat to ourselves the idea, to create a new habit, a new mental habit. So you might just discover you've been telling yourself for such a long period of time you can't do things that they've actually become fixed ideas in your habitual way of thinking. As a result of that, they've become fixed ways of behaving, and as a result of that, they've become fixed results. And then we get back into this cycle of the senses confirming the belief, the ideas, the behavior, and it just goes on. But you have to remove these blocks by putting yourself in a relaxed state so that you open up the subconscious mind and becoming consciously aware that you can do the things that you want. So it's reversing this process, telling yourself that you can do it, creating that belief and that expectation and that faith that you can do it, that you do have the ability, that you have got the tools, that you're working with a natural process that never fails as long as you work with it in the right way. Exactly the same with your gym, with your training clients. They can go and work out all day long doing some stupid technique and get no results. It's exactly the same with this. We have to make sure that we're not thinking backwards when we're doing it. So you probably just don't know how to go about it. The truth is there are a few people anywhere that understand this. That is the very reason why so few people live dynamic and exciting lives, and so many people live confused, unproductive lives. Therefore, you must constantly be reminding yourself that if you persist in thinking in reverse, you will only reproduce the same results over and over again, which is exactly what we've just discussed. So what I want you to do is what I've just told you, to explain that back to me so that I know that you understand it.
So it's just a regular cycle. What I've noticed in my life, the same things are coming back in a certain period of time to your life. But before I didn't know why.
Yeah.
You attract the same thing. It's just, your paradigm and your subconscious mind, what you used to do and react for certain things. I mean, we still do the same if you're not aware of these things.
Yeah.
And because we're thinking reverse, not knowing we are thinking reverse, we attract the same things again and again.
Yeah.
People also call it like the 7-year cycle.
Right.
Every 7 year, you roughly attract the same things in your life.
Yeah. Like Groundhog Day, Groundhog Year.
Yeah.
So explain to me then, please, the process of changing that. Of creating a new pattern, of installing creating new fixed ideas, new habits. So take it from the beginning here. You've decided that, well, let's actually do your case study. So you've decided now that you want to double your income in order to be able to move out and buy a house.
Yeah.
Or an apartment. So talk me through the process of achieving that. From a mental
because I had the same result, obviously, again and again.
Yeah.
I was, doing the same things, training the same people. There's no, I made a living about it, but that's it. There's no progress.
Yeah.
I just had enough. So obviously I needed to do something different to get a different result. Couldn't expect the same, doing the same things, not changing anything and earning more money.
So
it's just, putting the prices on is not the only solution, and it's just not enough.
Yeah, you can only do that to a certain degree.
Yeah, which I've done. So
what was step one of the process?
Just the image in my head first. I had to think what I would like to do to achieve it, or to get a different result. What kind of things I can do,
I would say the first
on a higher level. It was an idea first.
Yeah, you have to originate an idea, right?
Yeah.
So I would say the first step is to make a decision.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision about what you want. And to do that, you have to originate an idea. So you have to be clear on what it is that you want to achieve. So what's the second step?
It's the goal setting and the making, action plan after that.
Yeah.
To get some clarity, have a plan where I want to go, how I want to go there. Not even how, because it's not very important.
Yeah.
But for example, first I went to see a mortgage advisor. So he put it down, number by number, how much money I need, how much money I need to declare, what profit I need to make, so I can set myself to that number first.
So you got information, so that's good.
Yeah.
You got the
number. Be realistic. Yeah.
Give yourself a target to aim for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about from the mental standpoint? So if you continue to operate,
that's the hard bit, the mental part.
If you continue to operate from the same patterns, you're going to get the same results, right? So this is where we talk about if you if you don't change your thinking, you don't change your results. You can go and get the numbers from the mortgage advisor. You can decide whatever you're going to do, but if you're still behaving in the same way, it's not going to.
Exactly. If I didn't, happen to make any action towards the goal, nothing would have changed.
So you had to reprogram some fixed ideas, right? We have to have to develop a level of awareness around what are the ideas that have been, what are the beliefs, what are the feelings of Kata who earns what she earns now, as opposed to Kata in the future or moving into the future that earns what she's going to earn or what she earns in the future. So you had to create an evaluation of these ideas. For example, the social media has been one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Your fixed idea.
Just this course with you, it was the part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because as you said, I didn't know how to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to, put everything into places, on a mental level, including myself and the way I'm thinking. And that the old patterns go and die.
This is where
I think this is one of the hardest part.
Yeah. This is where all the work is done. Once you succeed with this part of goal achievement, then everything else starts to fall into place, because you start to behave in a consistent way to how you see yourself. This is the whole thing with talking about the self-image and the visualization of yourself succeeding and the reprogramming of the ideas. Once all of this starts to actually take effect, once those seeds start to germinate and shoot and turn into plants, then you've effectively sacrificed the old you for a new you. This is the law of sacrifice. It's like you've let go of the old Kata in order for the new Kata to come into bloom. And the new you is a spiritually evolved you, it's a mentally evolved you, and it's a physically evolved you. Because you've now moved to another level of achievement in your life, you've created another growth ring, in effect. You've expanded your capabilities, you've expanded your awareness, you've expanded your comfort zone. And as a result of that, you've achieved the goal that you set. And you've done it all in harmony with these laws that never fail, because you've done it in a non-resistant way. So therefore, you must constantly remind yourself that if you persist in thinking in reverse, you'll only reproduce the same result. So we could say, if you persist in thinking as you've always thought, we could say it like that. If you persist in thinking with past habitual thinking patterns, you can only produce past results. If you wish to change this pattern, on the other hand, you must look bravely into the bright future which lies ahead and see yourself already doing what you now only dream about doing someday. You must understand you need not know how everything will come together. All you have to understand is the underlying principle by which your good comes, namely that everything which you receive in life comes by virtue of the law of attraction, which is essentially the law of cause and effect. It's the same thing. So by doing all of this work mentally back here, by changing these fixed patterns, by removing these blocks, by changing these fixed mental patterns, by reprogramming your feelings and these ideas, you're moving your body into a different vibration. You're moving yourself into a different frequency. You're literally changing the frequency of your body. And where are we? The result of that is that you're going to get a different reaction from the universe. You're going to get a different response from the universe as you move onto a different frequency. Then your environment is going to start to reflect that frequency. Like, for example, that book that you've just bought this week on branding, that book has always been there. Why is it only all of a sudden that it's like you've decided to buy it this week? Because
yeah.
Well, your friend
I started to look at, yeah, she recommended it one hand, but the other hand, I was looking for something or someone.
You were looking for, you were thinking,
connection with, yeah.
You attracted that book into your experience. I wouldn't say the book has always been there. It was written at a certain year, but it's always been available to you in the time that you've needed. Yeah. But you wasn't aware of it before. It wasn't in your field of perception or awareness. And therefore, you wasn't resonating on that frequency. As you become aware that, as you focus on the goal, all of the means start to come to you in order for you to be able to achieve that. Like, you have a look at what's happened since we've been working together. Like, you could have gone to a mortgage advisor at any time and got that information, but you didn't. The whole thing with the website, with the social media, with the getting help, with your friend offering you the book, all of these things are starting to come into your world. They were all there before. The possibility was always there before. It just wasn't on your frequency, and therefore you didn't see it. And this is the thing here. So he says, like, the law of polarity, or as it is often referred to, the law of opposites, this law clearly states that everything has an opposite. So I think we might have talked, I don't know if we talked about it last week, like, you take, like, we're talking about love and hate with this, like, law of polarity. Everything is just one thing. Everything comes from the same source. Everything is just energy and frequency. This is what Einstein's came to the conclusion of. It's like, everything is just energy and frequency. And you only get back an equal and opposite match. It's like hitting the piano with the piano. You have the two pianos in the room. You hit the key on the one piano, the same key resonates on the other piano. You don't hit a C note on one piano and have a G sharp resonate on the other piano. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's exactly the same with you. If you hit a G sharp note in your life, you're going to get a G sharp resonation in your environment and in your experience. This is what he's saying. Don't think in reverse. You've got to focus. For me, he's saying, like, we've got this generic law. We've got this universe is just energy and frequency. And you can either decide to make that energy negative or you can make it positive. If you think in reverse, if you're thinking in reverse, what you're going to be doing is going backwards. If you focus on what you don't want, if you think about all of the reasons why you can't do something, you're going to be given reasons why that is true. If you think of all the reasons why you can do something, if you create the right conditions for it to happen, you're going to be given all the reasons and all the resources for it to become true as well. There's no can have, can't have. There's no, you can have a little bit but not a lot, or you can't have any. It's like the universe is just the universe. It's completely, it doesn't discriminate against you or anybody else. If you want to be a millionaire, go and be a millionaire. If you want to be a billionaire or a trillionaire, go and be a billionaire or a trillionaire. There's no difference in the universe. It's whether or not you can, like, we come back to removing mental blocks. You might have been telling yourself for such a long time that you can't do certain things that it actually becomes a truth for you because you resonate with that belief. The only limitation to what you can achieve is your ability to actually believe that you can have it, and your faith in yourself that you can actually achieve it. Your ability to be able to expect that to become a reality for you. So The law of polarities is referred to the law of opposites, and this states that everything has an opposite. By law, you must be able to figure out how it can be done. People who accomplish great things are aware of the negative, however, they give all their mental energy to the positive. So, in Think and Grow Rich, which I know you've been reading to some degree, he says that in every adversity there's the seed of an equal or greater success. So for every failure, and this is what he's talking about, is in every adversity there is the seed of an equal or greater success. There has to be. The bigger you fail, the more potential there is for you to succeed, which most people would struggle to get their head around that. But this is by law. This is how it happens, because it's all the same thing. If we take this is the law here of polarity, this is the energy, this is the negative, and this is the positive, this is the pen of polarity, where does the failure start to be a success? At what point on this line from failure to success does it change? There's no, you couldn't say it's here or it's here or it's here. There's no line of demarcation, which indicates that failure and success are the same thing. And that's what the law of polarity is really stating, is it's just exactly the same thing. And we can apply this to, for example, your desire. A desire can't exist within you without the fulfillment. Because there's the pen of polarity, that's the energy, there's desire at one end, and there's fulfillment at the other end. It's the same thing. There'd be no reference point for desire if there wasn't fulfillment. If you take a question can't exist without the answer. This is another quality of the law of polarity, because the question and the answer are the same thing. Everything's the same thing. So the question becomes, do we focus on the question, or do we focus on the solution? Do we focus on the problem, or do we focus on the answer? And most people just focus on the problem.
Yeah, I always say my auntie is like, she has a problem for every solution. That's what I usually say.
Yeah.
She's like that.
But for her, that's true. That's how it is, though. That's how it is for her. That's what she gets given, because that's what she asks for. You know, ask and you shall be given. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh, receiveth. What are you asking for? Most people are unconsciously asking for a pile of shit. Excuse my language. And that's what they get.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Look, she always had a really good job, like a highest position in finance and accountancy in Hungary. It's the highest earning you can get in Hungary, but somehow she's always struggling financially, even now. And she earns, compared to, the area of Hungary and Hungary, shitloads of money.
But she's still poor.
I mean, the way yeah.
Still always broke the way she's talking. Never got any money.
But yeah. Which is not the truth. It's the real,
Well, for her,
she always, dresses like a Trump,
Yeah.
It's like,
for her, it's real.
Complaining all the time.
Yeah. But for her, it's real.
Because it's real, in a way, yeah.
Because that's the note. That's like her piano is playing that note.
Yeah.
All she can get is an equal and opposite resonation on the other. All she can get is the same frequency. That's all she can be given. It's not. There's no. That's it. There's no. It's like play a happy note, and you get a happy note come back to you. Play a sad note, you get a sad note come back. Play an angry note and you get an angry note. Play a prosperous note, you get a prosperous note. A poverty note, you get a poverty note. It's just,
no matter how good the environment is, we're having fun with the family. She always manage it to put it down to the lowest. Oh.
Maybe does she speak English?
No.
I'll send it to my girlfriend, Gabriella. She can do You Were Born Rich with her in Hungarian.
Don't think so.
So
it's hopeless. Yeah.
So ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh, receiveth. So the question is, it comes down to, what are we asking for, and asking quality questions. This is what Tony Robbins is always saying. He's like, it comes down to the quality of the questions that we're asking. Because with the question comes the answer. And most people would say, like a lot of people will go, why is this happening to me? And the universe will go, well, it's happening to you because, and then you say, why is this so hard? Well, it's so hard because you've got this obstacle and this obstacle and this obstacle. Why can't I do this? Well, you can't do it because this, and this. But if you start asking, if you start saying, what is the solution to this problem? I know that there is a solution. I know there's a way forward. How am I going to move forward? What is the answer to this problem? What is the solution to this situation? How can I reach more people? How can I get myself out there? What do I need to do in order to take the next step? Oh, okay, well, you need to create a Facebook page. You need to let me get your friend to tell you what book you need to buy. Let me introduce you to Corey. Let me help you with that website. And you get the answers. It all comes down to like the inner dialogue that we're having with ourselves, with the conversations that we're having, with these ideas that we're implanting in our mind. Like, we take a piece of paper, law of polarity. If I write a question on the front of this piece of paper, by law, the answer has to exist on the back of it. It has to exist. How can you can't have a question without the answer, because they're two ends of one scale. It's like a thermometer. How can you have a hot without a cold on your thermometer? You've got the lowest value at this end, and the highest value at this end. And you couldn't have one without the other. You couldn't have the top without the bottom. You couldn't have the hot without the cold. You couldn't have the happy without the sad, because they just couldn't exist. So this is the law of polarity, and this is what, like, for me, it's like he's saying, yeah, don't think in reverse. Don't, like, the first thing is what you said, which is correct, is don't drive through life looking in the rear view mirror, because you're just going to have a crash. Don't be silly enough to allow your past conditioning and past events and your history to condition your future. But at the same time, I think he's saying that, you know, he's really, the underlying principle of this chapter is the law of polarity, in that we have a choice in which way we can direct our attention. We've got these factors, higher intellectual factors that we've been given, this imagination, the reason, perception, will, intuition, memory. We can use them in exactly the same way. Like, he'll say that, like, the mobile phone, the iPhone, was always here. Everything that's been used to create this phone has existed since the dinosaurs and before. It had to wait until our level of awareness became big enough, expanded enough, in order to be able to bring everything together to create it. The ability to fly was always there, millions of years before the Wright brothers ever like put the first plane into the air. The laws that it used to to get off the ground have always existed. They haven't changed in the slightest. And the materials that they used to create the machine have always existed. Everything was there. It just was waiting for us to increase our level of awareness to be able to conceptualize it. And as soon as we were able to do that, then it came into existence. And what he's saying is that we've all got this God-given ability to do this. Like when you look at Think and Grow Rich, for example, like one of the most powerful passages in this book for me, he says, this is in Persistence. He says, I had the happy privilege of analysing both Mr. Edison, Thomas Edison, and Henry Ford year by year over a long period, and the opportunity to study them at close range. I therefore speak from actual knowledge when I say that I found no quality save persistence in either of them that even remotely suggested the major source of their stupendous achievement. As one makes an impartial study of successful people, one is drawn to the inevitable conclusion that persistence, concentration of effort, and a definite purpose are the major source of their achievements. That's it. 3 qualities of some of the most successful people in the world. Number 1, persistence. The ability to persist at the task until you succeed, to not accept failure as an option. Number 2, concentration of effort, to be focused at the task. And number 3, a definiteness of purpose, to have a clearly defined objective that you're working towards. That's it. As one makes an impartial study of successful people, one is drawn to this conclusion that persistence, concentration of effort, and definiteness of purpose are the major source. I found nothing else other than persistence that even remotely suggested their achievement. And he's saying these guys were just like Edison's, the Wrights, the Bells, they're just ordinary people with exactly the same resources as what we have. Edison got thrown out of schools being called, like the teachers called him a retard. They said that he was too retarded to be taught by teachers at school. And his mum had to teach him. And he went on to give us the light bulb, amongst 100 other things. And this process is how they did it. They activated their mental faculties, they developed them, and they succeeded. So that's really the chapter for me. It's this law of polarity, understanding how this law of polarity operates and how we operate with it. And at its most simple level, that is stay positive. Stay focused, stay positive, and know that whatever happens, you're going to succeed. If you continue to ask the right questions, if you continue to take productive action, and if you continue to stay focused on the outcome that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's always, the most simple things which actually are always there, but we just don't use them.
Yeah.
It's with everything. The same with training. It's so simple. The same with diet. It's so simple, and people just can't do it.
We overlook it.
But it's yeah.
We don't trust simplicity.
Yeah.
We don't trust it. We think it's too simple. It's like that couldn't be that simple.
Yeah, we have to overthink it. Oh, what if this happens or that happens?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't know for sure what if it can be whatever,
What if it does work out? That's what
no one ever says that.
What if it does work? What if it
But
doesn't
no
work?
one ever says that. I never hear people saying, "Oh, but what if it works?"
What if it
You know,
goes wrong? Well, what if it does? What if it doesn't go wrong? What if it goes right? What then? Well, don't think in reverse. That's thinking in reverse. This whole thing is not just don't look at the past. It's like don't just thinking in reverse is taking your eye off of the goal, taking your eye off of the prize. Don't allow anything to distract you otherwise to the fact that you already have what you want. And it's just a matter of time for it to arrive. When you set a goal and you genuinely, when you have a genuine desire, a burning desire, which is the first chapter in this book, the first principle is having a burning desire. If you have a burning desire to achieve something and you're persistent and determined that you're going to do it, then look at it as though you've ordered it and it's in the post on its way to you. So I've already got it, it's mine. I'm just waiting for it to arrive now. I don't have to have any resistance at all to that whatsoever. I know that I have the ability to do it. I know that within the desire is the seed for the achievement. When Napoleon Hill says in every adversity there's a seed for an equal or greater success, in every desire is the seed for the success, for the fulfillment. It's exactly the same. So
no, it was the same. I was always told I can't get into the P college because I don't have the same history like someone who started to do competitive sports at the age of 5 because I started too late. I did it anyway. And then now when I got into, oh, but I'm not sure you're gonna be able to complete the school. I did it.
you did it. Yeah. So there you go.
But that was people were telling me, even some PE teachers. There's only actually 2 people who were helping me through the years. The rest of them, oh, but you can't do, you won't be able to do this and that because you don't have the the history. It's like,
but you did it.
yeah, it never stopped me. I mean, it was harder, obviously. The people were new anyway, and I had to learn from scratches in a later age, like gymnastics. But I still did it.
That's probably how you'd want it anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want it just given to you. So, how are you doing for time? Do you want to spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes quickly going through these laws again, seeing how they're,
Yeah.
see how they see whether these whether you're seeing these any differently now. I'm going to share my screen. Natural laws. This book he's talking about, basically this book is about these laws. This is what he's like. Bob Proctor teaches you how to achieve your goals in harmony with these laws. What he does is bury it all in these like silly stories that he's got and all of this other stuff, so that just to make it more understandable. So this is the first law here, the law of perpetual transmutation. And what that means is everything just is.
It's energy. Yeah.
Everything is just energy. And we have a limitless supply of energy in the universe. Energy moves into form, it moves through form, and it moves out of form. So we're born, we live, we die. That's a cycle. Something is born, something lives, it dies. It doesn't die, it transmutes. Energy is turned into form. It exists in that form for a period of time, and then it transmutes into another form. For example, ice, when you apply heat, becomes steam, becomes water. When you continue to apply heat, it becomes steam. When you continue to apply heat, it becomes ethereal. It's exactly the same energy, it's just moving through different forms. And this is how everything happens. When your goal, like that book that you've got in your hand about branding, that's from the raw perpetual transmutation of energy. Your mind is the forge that shapes this formless energy into form. This is the starting point. So this is what's happening, is that book has come to you to help you to transmute this energy. So notice how everything created by man is formed twice, first in the mind and then in the physical world. So the forge of this energy in our world is our mind. And this is what the You Were Born Rich is about. How do we use our mind to actually forge this energy, this neutral energy, in a way that is going to take form how we want to experience it in our life? So have you got any questions about that one?
Yeah.
This is everything around you. We're just energy and frequency, and it's limitless. The law of relativity. So everything just is. This is like the pen of polarity. This is the law of relativity that determines, when we're talking about the law of polarity, it's the law of relativity that is determining how the law of polarity is in operation. Everything just is until you relate it to something. So notice how when a shop has a sale, they make the price look small by comparison. So we've got the boxes here. Everything's just a perspective. If you look at the big box, the middle box looks small compared to the big one and big compared to the small one. So a lot of money to you is a small amount compared to somebody else, and to that person it's a small amount compared to somebody else. But a small amount to you is a lot to somebody else. A gentle workout for you is an exhaustive workout for somebody else. It's all relative. There's no definite point of reference. It all depends on your position of where you're looking at it from. And then we've got the law of attraction, the law of vibration and attraction, which attraction is a secondary law. We know this. The law of vibration is the primary law. So the law of attraction is responding to the vibration. That's why it's secondary. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. So we've got the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything just is in a state of vibration. Conscious awareness of vibration is called feeling, and your thoughts control your feelings and therefore your vibration. And the law of attraction is responding to your vibration and giving you back the essence of your feelings. So this neutral, formless energy that has no disposition to be nice to you or horrible to you, it just responds to you however you're responding to yourself, by the way that you make yourself feel. And the way that you make yourself feel is through your thoughts, through your beliefs, through these fixed ideas that you create. As soon as you hit a vibration, then everything around you switches to that vibration, or you switch to that frequency, and that is what you experience, and that's what you get. So if you don't like what you're getting, change your vibration. And to change your vibration, you've got to change your thoughts. You've got to change your perspective. You've got to change your way that you see things. And then we've got polarity. So everything has an opposite: up, down, hot, cold, in, out, good, bad. One can't exist without the other. They're two ends of the same thing. So the law of polarity is the two ends of the perpetual transmutation of energy. This energy, and the way that we determine that again is through the law of relativity, through our perception of that. So always look for the good in everything and everyone. Stay in a positive state, and what you're always going to get is a positive vibration. And then whatever you experience in your life is always going to be good. And even if you don't perceive it as being good at that point, it's moving you towards something good. It's something that needs to happen. Sometimes we have negative experiences and you think, well, why the hell did that happen? I've been totally focused on the good. Why am I getting this in my life? And it's because that experience that you're having, although you can perceive it as negative, it needs to happen for you to create the growth and to get the experience that you need in order to move past wherever you are to get the outcome that you want. Law of rhythm. So everything in the universe is rhythmical. Everything happens in cycles or seasons. Tide goes out, the tide comes in, the sun goes up, the sun comes down. Everything's cyclical. Everything's happening in a rhythmical fashion. So when you're down, you know that the swing's going to change and things will get better. You can always focus on the good and control your vibration. Concentrate on giving, not getting. So we know that everything's always in a constant state of movement, and that movement is happening in a cyclical way, in a rhythmical way. So it's pulsating. It's like the tide going out, the tide coming in, the sun coming down, the sun going up, the planets revolving around in the solar system, our bodily cycles. We've all, like, everything's happening in a cyclical way. So we know if you're having a bad time, then the good times are coming. If you're up, you know you're going to have some times when you're going to be down. This is the really big one, really, the law of cause and effect. Great law of the universe. So in religion, it's described as sowing and reaping. What you sow is what you reap. In spirituality, they would describe it as karma. What goes around comes around. And then in science, they would call it cause and effect. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What goes out must come back in an equal and opposite reaction. And this is why I say this is the law of attraction, because the primary cause for the law of cause and effect is what? Yeah, and specifically the primary cause
is my vibration and energy, whatever I attract.
And the cause of your vibration is what controls your vibration?
Energy.
What controls your energy?
Me.
Your thoughts.
My thoughts. Yeah.
Thoughts. Your consciousness, your awareness. What's going on inside of your head. So most people will look at their results and try and change their results. Like you take, like, again, go to your training, for example, like your personal training. If a person tries to change their behavior, like, a person can look at their behavior and say, right, I'm not taking enough exercise in order to hit my fitness goal. The not taking enough exercise is a secondary cause to the problem. The primary cause is the mental activity in that person. If they don't adjust their mindset, then the behavior is not going to change. They might have a temporary change in their results through overriding their behavior, but if they don't change the fixed ideas and their patterns of thinking, their beliefs and their ideas, then they're not going to achieve any permanent results. So the actual cause of the result is the thinking. It's not the behavior. The behavior is a secondary cause. You're not going to. That's like taking a paracetamol to solve a headache. When it's a pinched nerve in your neck or dehydration, like if dehydration is causing you to have a headache, taking a paracetamol may remove the headache, but you haven't solved the problem. It's still there. The primary cause is not having enough fluids. And it's exactly the same with the law of cause and effect. It's like the primary cause of everything in your experience is your mental wave patterns. It's the vibration that your thinking is putting you in. And if you're sending out negativity in your thoughts, if you're talking to someone and you're smiling and you're having like negative thoughts about that person, then you're going to get a negative response from that. So what goes out must come back in an equal and opposite reaction. That's what it says. Treat people well and with respect. Always have good thoughts. Always be grateful. Always be happy. Always be thoughtful. Always have positive thoughts, because then you know that in essence, everything is going to come back to you in a positive response. So give of that which you want to receive. And that's why, like, you hear people saying, like you say, giving is receiving. To give is to receive. If you want to receive more, then give more. Because what you receive is an equal and opposite reaction to what you give. Because the primary cause of your receiving is your giving. This is why I said, like we've said before, if you want to increase your income, increase your service. Because you give more service, you get more income. That's cause and effect. And you can, there's 100 different ways you can give more of yourself. Law of gender, or law of gestation. So every seed has a gestation or an incubation period. So from you having a thought, a mental, sending out energy in mental thought forms, for it to actually manifest in the physical world, there's a delayed period of time for that to happen. Like if you plant a seed in the ground, there's going to be days or weeks or months or even years sometimes before that seed actually sprouts through the ground. So your ideas are spiritual seeds, but if you continue to water those seeds and keep the conditions right and look after it, then it's always going to sprout. We don't know when, but we know it will. So your goals will always manifest. If you operate in harmony with these laws, then you can know with 100% certainty that your goal will manifest when the time is right. And you don't know when that is, and I don't know when it is, and none of us know when it is. It's not, that's something that's out, that's the let go and let God part of things. That's what he's really talking about. That is just to know, to have that knowledge and understanding that we're working with in an intelligent universe that's operating with immutable laws that we can control. We're the only people, we're the only creatures on this planet that have been given the ability to do this. No other creature on this planet has these intellectual faculties that we've got: imagination, will, reason, perception, intuition, memory. Only us are the people. Only humans are able to create in this way. Only humans are able to take this energy of the universe and turn it in to a mobile phone or a cup with your name on it or a hard drive or a car or whatever. So that's it. So we've got perpetual transmutation of energy, relativity, attraction and vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. And everything is operating according to these laws. So can you see them in what's going on in your life, how they're actually in operation?
Yeah, now I can. Still certain things sometimes I don't understand. I'm trying to find a circle, Yeah. Where is it? Why is it?
Well, there's always going to be things that you don't understand, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think the day that you think that you know everything is the day that
and the same day something happenings when you doubt everything again. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So that's it, really. That's thinking in reverse. So do you want to summarize this for me, please? What we've talked about today, so that I know that you don't know. They say you don't know something until you can explain it back to somebody. Right.
Well, I don't think in reverse is basically what I said in the beginning. It's for me, the first thought is let go, let God.
Yeah.
So whatever you've been doing now, happened to you in the past, it shouldn't affect, because there's actually no connection in the future with the past, unless you think you're going to do the same thing again,
unless
you stay in the same mental level again.
Yeah.
Because it's just presumption, as we said. Oh, it didn't happen when I tried first time, so it's not going to happen again in the future, basically.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee it's going to happen or not going to happen that way, but we think there is. And I just understood now by the end of the class. So it's just, again, what we think as an energy, and we're sending it out. So unconsciously, if we're afraid of the same result that we got before, we're gonna get the same result.
Yeah, which is what he says in with the Job quote: "Behold, the thing I fear has come upon me." In I think it was chapter 3, he says it. He says, if you worry, then you can be guaranteed that the thing you worry about is going to come to visit you. This is why. There's no other way that it can happen. We can only get what we think about.
Yes, so basically one thing can happen in 100 other ways.
Yeah.
Just because we think of one particular thing, it's going to happen that way.
Yeah. And that's why we get stuck as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we limit, like, we limit the possibility to our own imagination. Whereas to let go and to let God is to hand it over to a force greater than ourselves, and to put our trust and
Yeah.
our faith and our belief and our expectancy in that force to take care of it for us.
Well, it's just because now I'm more conscious about people around me. Most of the people find it really hard to let things go because they just keep bringing, the same examples up again and again. Oh, but this happened, and then people always like that.
Yeah.
And there is a certain prediction for things by logic, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Have you found that, like, since you've been studying this stuff, that the way that you see people is different, and when people talk to you, you get a deeper insight into their psychology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's scary. Some people are just creepy.
Yeah, I think you're doing really well. I think you made massive progress, personally.
Yeah, but I see in myself too what I used to do. Used to do the same things, obviously in a different level, but the result is the same.
Yeah. You're still doing it. We're all still doing it.
Yeah.
We're just constantly, it's like the
Because
game is to continue.
Yeah, it's always going back to the, the convenience
Yeah.
and the comfort zone of our life, even for just a day, a half day, just to feel a bit good and safe. I mean, in the last 2 months, I wake up every day with an anxiety. But I don't take it as a bad thing. Why am I anxious about this? Just because it's something new, something different.
Yeah. But that's your terror barrier. Do you remember last week?
Yeah.
That's your
And
terror.
I talked to this friend of mine who recommended me this book.
Yeah.
And she said in the last couple of weeks, she's always dreaming with death.
Right.
Even then, she had a dream that because she applied for NatWest is doing an investment in young women, I think, business women.
Yeah.
And there is a prize to win up to £5,000, to support your business. And she said she had a dream. She won the prize, but then someone came with a gun and killed everyone. So she said it's her own barrier, that even if, something good happens, something bad is going to happen and, sabotage everything. And she knows it's her own field.
So did you talk to her about it? Did you say that this
Yeah. Yeah, and she's really good at it. She's really aware of things. But she said this is probably one of the deepest fear is death of everyone, because there is the only thing, there is no solution in humanity. It's death.
Yeah.
So if she can conquer that, it's gonna,
Can you conquer that?
Finally. Well,
death, or your fear
really.
or her fear of it?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I personally, I don't know why. I never had a particular fear of death. I never thought about it. I'm not, it's like if someone would come and wants to kill me, yeah, I would be panicking. But I never been into the depth of, what's gonna happen when I'm gonna die, and I don't know why.
Well,
in my head, it's just not the time now. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. It's just perpetual transmutation of energy.
Yeah.
What you're doing is transmuting into. I don't think your consciousness is going to go. It's just your physical body goes. But your awareness is eternal because it's non-physical. It's only the physical aspects of you. The energy can't go. You are energy. You're an energy body. Energy doesn't die. It transmutes. You can't. You just change into something else. Well, that's my perception of it, anyway.
Yeah, and some people are just very obsessed with it. I just got, aware of it recently, how much people are scared of death.
Yeah, scared of living more.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, they're scared of living. They're not scared of death.
Yeah, scared of living. So that was a quote I got from. I put it into my presentation. It's sad when a child is afraid of the dark, but what's worse is when an adult is afraid of the light. Most adults are afraid of living as much as they're afraid of dying. But I've got another quote as well that says, I read that in one of my books I've read recently. It said that when we die, hang on, I'll show you actually, just quickly. Here we go. I'll share my screen with you quickly. I had to put this into a presentation because I thought it was really good. At the end of your life, with all its triumphs and its beauty, you are just a collection of memories that you managed to acquire. Those memories make up your spiritual identity, your soul expressed as a sacred, infinite feeling. And that composite feeling, the story of your life, is the real you. So, at the end of your life, when you're laid on your deathbed and it's your last moments of breath, when you look back, all you're going to be is a composition of memories and feelings. So, at the end of your life, with all its triumphs and beauty, you're just a collection of memories that you managed to acquire. So I say to people, well, the question is, what do you want those memories to be? Because you have to start thinking about them now. You have to start going after them now. Do you want to be laid on your deathbed looking back with regret, looking back in reverse, thinking about all the things you didn't do that you wanted to do? And at that point, all of the mistakes that you made will become insignificant and irrelevant. They'll become a part of those memories and that story that makes up you. So I think the moral of this story is just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. You came with nothing, you're leaving with nothing. So anything you get in the meantime is just a bonus.
It's one of a friend of mine. She said, "Oh, I've lost like 4 or 5 people around me last year. Hell knows, maybe I'm gonna be the next." Yeah, but maybe not.
Maybe she will talking like that. If that's what she's focused on. So
I don't understand why people do that to themselves. Well, I don't need to.
Because they don't know any different.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're complaining they want to do this and want to do that, but the circumstances. And even in one of the videos in Bob Proctor says, circumstances are irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's just you're not willing to take the responsibilities on the circumstances you have, and you just blame the circumstances.
Yeah. But here's one more thing as well, quickly before I wrap up, is when you see those limitations in other people, they exist in yourself. They can't exist in the other people without existing in you. If they don't, like that those limitations exist in your awareness, and your awareness is you. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if you see those limitations in other people, then they're limitations to work on yourself. And the way to do that is just to, like, with the law of attraction and vibration, is that when something goes out of your awareness, it just disappears. Because what happens is you flip to a different frequency. It doesn't stop to exist in the totality of reality and the universe. What it does is it stops existing in your own personal experience. It no longer exists within you because you're no longer aware of it. So when you see these limitations in people like your auntie or whatever, rather than focusing on saying you're so negative, what you're saying to yourself is you're so negative. When I say that to people, the solution to that is to go, you're doing really well. You're doing amazingly well. Like every day you're making progress towards the goals that you want to achieve or whatever it is that you want to say to them. And to completely refuse to acknowledge those limitations in other people. Because by acknowledging, by being aware of them and acknowledging them, you're keeping them in those people. You're keeping that person in that state because your awareness is creating that reality. Like my awareness of you is creating your reality. Your awareness of me is creating my reality. My thoughts about you is having an impact on you, and vice versa. And it's the same with everybody. When we see the negative in people, we're appropriating that in ourselves, and we're reaffirming it and reinforcing it in ourselves, and we're also keeping it in that other person. This is how like the whole spiritual healing thing works, I think. Is that when we heal people spiritually, it's like I can't heal you in your body. I can only heal, the only place I can do the work is in my mind. So when you take a spiritual healer and they heal somebody, what they actually do is they heal themselves. They heal themselves from that limitation and that illness and that sickness or that whatever it is.
I just used to walk away from these people, saying nothing.
Or the other thing to do is just to walk away from it and just don't allow it to be in your experience.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that'll happen as your frequency changes and you move to higher levels of vibration and frequency. Those people will just vibrate out. Because it's an impossible match. It's like you're going like this and they're going like this. It's like you can't jump that frequency. You can only get what you're in alignment with. So yeah, it's a constant game of monitoring your own mental state.
Okay, just one more thing. Why is that I don't know, you must have experienced that there's just certain people, you never met them, you meet them, and you just hate them. I mean, you just can't stand them. You can't. Why is like that? I'm still figuring that out.
Because they're not in your. They're not on your level. They're just so far out. They're so far out that you're not gonna match.
I mean, there is a guy in my gym, a trainer, and all my clients and I, it's been nearly 2 years he's there, just can't stand this guy. I had to completely rearrange my schedule, trying not to be there when he's there.
Yeah.
And it's not just me, other people's clients, and
yeah,
it's just it's calm. I don't know. It's such a bad vibe when he's there.
He's not a match for you. The two of you are just out of alignment with each other.
Yeah.
So he's on one frequency, you're on another frequency.
And of course it's mutual. I'm sure he hates me too. So it's like,
if you think he does, then he does.
Yeah.
Send him some love. Send him some love and some like good feelings. See what happens.
Still, I'm blocked.
You don't even want to.
One of my clients said, because once I sent my client a funny video of how the guy kicks one out of the window, I said, I would pay, all my money to see that you doing it to that trainer. That's what my client said. I said, thank you, but I won't.
Just send him good thoughts. Don't
I'll try. I try to be the bigger person here, but
well, if you let him in a negative mental state, all you're doing.
No, I'm just ignoring him.
Yeah.
To be honest, but that's it.
Don't give it any mental room at all. Save all your mental space for things that you want. And keep it positive. So, I've got a favour to ask from you, Kata, if I can, please.
Yeah.
If you feel that you would like to, would it be possible for you to get you to give me a testimonial?
Of course.
Thank you. What I'm asking people to do is on my Facebook business page is just to write a testimonial as a post on the wall.
Okay.
And then I think I can use that then when I'm like putting on events and stuff I can can have them all in one place. So I'll send you a link to my business page, and then
Okay,
you can
I'll
just,
do that this week. Yeah.
yeah, I think you
Oh,
can.
funny. I just asked 10 of my clients to do the same on 312 page. So far, I got 7 or 8 back
There you go. See.
of the 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever you think,
Oh,
whatever
that's
you
great.
think, I'd rather you just be honest. To be honest. So whatever you think is appropriate, then that's good. I want people to like I don't want to tell people what to say.
Yeah, and you don't need to, as you said, when the service is good, it just sells
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. So that would be massively beneficial to me if you could do that.
Yeah, I will do that. Oh,
Brilliant.
and next week is Easter. Is there any chance we could do Tuesday? Because I'm working on Easter Monday,
Yeah. We can do that
same time, 8 o'clock.
on Tuesday.
Yeah. So it's the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
We can do that. Thank you.
Brilliant. Have a great week, Kata. I
Okay.
look forward to hearing what
You
progress
too.
you've made
Yeah. Thank you.
next week. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you. Bye. Have a good Easter. Bye.